Do you have limited capital and want to scale your rental portfolio quickly? Welcome back to Coffee Corner with Lattes and Leases. My name is Soli Cayetano, and today we're going to talk about how I use the BRRRR strategy to almost double my net worth with one deal and pull out enough capital to fund the next purchase. If you're interested in scaling with limited capital, you're going to love this video. Stay with me to the very end where I share all the numbers from my very first deal. With traditional rental properties, banks require putting down 20 to 25% of the purchase price as a down payment. As a rookie investor with limited capital, there's only so many times you can put that much amount of money down before you run out. When I started investing, I had about $50,000 in my bank account. I started looking at Cincinnati, Ohio, where the average purchase price was about $100,000 to $150,000. After doing some quick math, I realized that I could only buy one, maybe two properties before I ran out of cash. It had taken me 3 years to save up that amount of money, and after doing some thinking, I just thought 3 years was way too long to wait to buy the next property. I had to figure out another strategy that would allow me to scale faster. I discovered the BRRRR strategy from the Bigger Pockets podcast. BRRRR stands for Buy, Rehab, Rent, Refinance, and Repeat. And it's a strategy that you can recycle a small amount of capital over and over and over again. Let's take a deep dive into my first property so I can show you how the BRRRR process works. Step 1 is to buy. In order for this strategy to work, you'll need to find a property with value add potential. When you're looking for a BRRRR deal, try to find something with a purchase price of around 75% of after repair value so that you'll be able to refinance a lot of your money out. I found this 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, single-family house on Zillow for $98,000. Through some due diligence, figured out how to make it a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom. I bought the property with a conventional loan, 20% down, about $19,600, and about $4,000 of closing costs. Step 2 is to rehab. This was a largely cosmetic renovation with the main value add being converting the formal dining room to a bedroom by adding a closet and a door and updating in the kitchen and the bathroom. I flew out for a few weeks to see the property for the very first time and to throw a couple hammers myself. This renovation cost about $15,000. Step 3 is to rent. With investing out of state, I recommend hiring a good property manager. The 8 to 10% of rent that you'll pay will be well worth it for them to vet your tenants, handle maintenance requests, and have an extra set of eyes on the ground. This property rented out for $1,500 per month. Step 4 is to refinance. Usually conventional lenders want you to own the property for at least 6 months before doing a cash out refinance. The process is very similar to the initial lending process, although usually with cash out refinances, they only allow you to take out 75% of the new appraised value. With purchase price, closing costs, and renovation costs, I was all in for $117,000. But after the renovation, it appraised for $155,000. That gap between those two numbers is the equity I forced by doing a renovation. I had to access that equity by doing a cash out refinance. So I was able to do a cash out refinance for 75% of the new appraised value. So my new loan amount was $116,250 with closing costs of approximately $5,000. Since the value of the property had increased so much, I was able to pay off my original mortgage with the refinance proceeds and still have $30,738 left over, which essentially reimbursed me for my down payment and the majority of my renovation costs. I ended up leaving about $7,800 in this deal, which is totally fine with me because it makes me just about $525 per month, or an 80% cash on cash return. In addition, I had $38,750 in equity and just over $30,000 to reinvest into the next property. Isn't that awesome? Thanks for sticking with me through all those numbers. My main goal was to show you that scaling with limited capital is possible with the BRRRR strategy. If you want to dive deeper into the BRRRR strategy, David Green has a book on BRRRRing that you can find in the Bigger Pockets bookstore or in the link description below. I wanted to leave you with 4 considerations of the BRRRR process. Number 1, you don't need a perfect BRRRR. You might have noticed that my first deal was not a perfect BRRRR where I left $0 in the deal, and that's completely okay with me. At the end of the day, I increased my net worth, I left minimal money inside the deal, and I had a property that brought me monthly cash flow. That's a win for me. Number 2, you can totally BRRRR with a conventional loan. A lot of people think that BRRRRs have to be a very dilapidated house where you have to buy with cash or hard money, though it's a little bit harder to find a property that can be bought with a conventional loan and makes a good BRRRR, it's totally possible. Using a conventional loan keeps your holding costs low and your out-of-pocket relatively low as well. Also, a cosmetic renovation is definitely less intimidating for your first deal. Tip number 3, make sure you qualify for the refinance process. It's worth having a quick conversation with your lender. Just let them know what your strategy is from the get-go and to see if they anticipate any issues with qualifying for the refinance. If you end up not being able to qualify for any reason, you might end up with a lot more money than anticipated in that deal. And finally, tip number 4 is expect the unexpected with renovations. The secret sauce of BRRRRing is in the value-add creation of renovating. Renovations can take twice as long and cost twice as much as expected, and they can get a little bit trickier when you're managing from out of state. But don't worry, we have a whole video on managing renovations remotely coming up for you in this series. The BRRRR process has been instrumental in me scaling from 0 to 26 doors in less than 2 years. What's awesome is this strategy is also repeatable for multifamily, so you can scale even faster. I've used this strategy for both single families and multifamilies within my own portfolio. Today we went over the 5 main steps of the BRRRR process: buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and repeat, and I shared all the nitty-gritty details of my first deal. Part of the success of the BRRRR process is building the right team and managing the renovation process. So make sure you subscribe to this channel to get notified when those videos come out. Thank you so much for joining Coffee Corner with Lattes and Lisas. I can't wait for you to join me next week where we discuss the frequently asked question of, do I house hack locally or do I invest out of state?